Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
Everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Kinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go!
Contact between the Mercedes pass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to PSGL Formula 3 Round 9 on Season 36. I am, of course, one of your commentators, Mr. Deaflink, also known as Alex, and I'm joined by my partner in crime once again. He's back from his ventures in the free world. It is TK, also known as, they call me TK. He's back again.
I certainly am indeed. And don't be forsaken, Season 37 we're here for.
37. Yeah, I practiced that beforehand.
No,
I literally read it as well.
Yeah, you did. But hey, we're here, we're back, we're ready to go racing again. And what a track to be at, the historic Spa-Francorchamps.
Yep, it's a fantastic circuit. It is one of the mainstays on the F1 calendar. Maybe not for the foreseeable future, unfortunately, but it will always be on the PSGL calendar, and that's where you want to be for your action. Of course, we had PCF1 last night with yours truly, TK, who was there last night. Not jealous at all. And we're now going to get underway with Formula 3, which, of course, unfortunately, we may have lost a couple of drivers due to them being promoted, but we still got a tasty title fight and, of course, points finishing. So let's go over to the standings right now. So if you have a look at the standings, of course, as you can see, Angelo has been promoted up to Formula 2, another graduate from the Formula 3 world up into Formula 2. Riyad Sprogis currently is your championship leader, but after two P11 finishes in a row, that's two no, it's not two non-points finishes, but it's not good finishes at all.
No, out of the points, top 10 score.
Oh, out of the points, of course. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. It's one of those days, everyone. And of course, Ben Marples has been promoted since round 4. The man in 4th place, Sixten Linhart, though, is on 46 points compared to Rihard Sprogis' 52. It is not unassailable at all, ladies and gentlemen. And do not count out Daniel or even Keanu, who sits in 6th place. There is 3 rounds left, I believe, TK, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
including this one.
Four including today.
4 including today, and 3 if you don't include today. So it is very much possible we can see a title fight towards the end of the season. Rihard Sprogis has not really had all in his favour. He has not won since Miami on round 2, and he's only finished 3rd since Japan. That was his best result recently. So he's got some work to do, and from what we've read, TK, he's not done many practice because, of course, real life has taken over, and everyone's going back to school and college.
Yep, they certainly are indeed. We got drivers just getting themselves prepped and ready for qualifying. Before we head over to there, let's have a look at how our track map looks for this afternoon. So welcome to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. 4.352 miles and 19 turns. Makes it the longest circuit on this season's calendar and the highest elevation change with 102.2 metres between highest and low points on that beautiful track map. And let's head in to quali.
I want to point out here that every driver is out on track bar 1.
They are indeed. Lillian, Deco card? Oh, no, not going to try it.
It's a
Lilian
French name, but we've never been able to pronounce it because me and Josh had them before. But they're a fantastic driver.
Yeah.
So I expect to see a good result from today. Now Daniel's out here at the top of the runnings. I just wonder if everyone's gone out because it's a bit cloudy here at Spa, TK. I don't know if there's any sprinkle of rain in the air. Of course, once again, we have to mention we are on the F1 World Cars and we are running. I believe the slipstream is still off because we've turned off collisions. So we will have a restart at the end of qualifying. But TK, would you like to take a lap on board with Daniel around this fantastic circuit?
Let's ride on board with Daniel then through La Source, turn number 1 here at this Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, the run down to the infamous Eau Rouge and Radion. Eau Rouge comes up first, then you ride over the top of Radion onto the Kemmel Straight, where the first dose of DRS will be coming our driver's way. That drag reduction system becoming activated in the rear wings, splitting apart like Moses and the Red Sea down towards Lake Como. He'll run, which is a really tight chicane. You've got to be careful on the brakes, get the car nice and rotated in as Ryan Grob, I believe, takes their qualifying ban, but we'll keep on board with Daniel here down towards Bruxelles, and infamously No Name, or also known as Speaker's Corner, but we won't call it that for today. We'll keep it as No Name as they head into the double left-hander very shortly of Pouon. It's a very fast and flowing corner. Expect drivers to be following very, very closely as they head through that corner, of course, given how powerful the slipstream has been in this season's game, down towards Piff Paff. And then Campus, Stavelo, and of course Blanchimont and Bus Stop to finish off the lap. It's careful, considerate. You've got to be careful not to invalidate your lap times because of how long this circuit is. You've got to be careful to hold it together. At the moment, it's purple middle sector for Daniel, but how long will that last?
Well, one final set of corners to go around the famous left-hander of, I believe it's Blanchimont, if I'm not mistaken. And then going into what is the bus stop chicane. Heavy braking zone. Pick your braking point right over the first curb, right over the second one, and then you get your exit right, run it out towards the right-hand side. You make up towards the line, you get a 140.9. That is what everyone is chasing. Let's see who can beat it.
Yep, drivers will come up towards the line. Next across will be Zach Mars. He goes quicker, 40.8 for himself. T.S. Korsman slots between the two of them. Keanu Luntart in P3. So 4 drivers at the moment setting lap times on the board. Race goes quickest, 148.18 milliseconds between himself and Zach Miles. Legend and Thomas Lammen and Richard Sprague is only good enough for 7th, now 8th place as Boba steals that away. Larry Tulke up to P4 for themselves. Drivers coming across the line, left, right and centre. Cuba P11. I think that T.S. Korsman P4. Was that 6th? And Luntart up to P2.
Well, Linhart knows what he needs to do, TK, doesn't he? He needs to start winning races. And of course, pole position is an extra championship point.
It certainly is indeed. It could be a crucial championship point for Sixten Luntart. Of course, he's got a little bit of a way to go. 0.04 of a second is what stands between him and Race at the moment. But as you said, it's looking very overcast out on track. Don't rule out rain quite yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there is rain coming, this is where the qualifying will end, because of course, if rain comes down on the circuit, then the guys will not be able to improve their lap times. It does look like it's brightening up a little bit, but it's definitely still overcast out here. Just want to point out, TK, our championship leader down in 14th place.
Yeah, not been the ideal qualifying as Lillian goes quickest.
15th place.
We were riding on board with them. They decided to go out late, not necessarily stick with the rest of the crowd, and it's clearly paid off for them, not having cars in and amongst their field of vision.
Well, it certainly has, and I mean, it's put them, what, a 10th faster than Race in 2nd place? Lillian is very fast, of course, driven in Formula 3 before. Actually, I believe got moved up to Formula 2 and has come back down as a reserve for Formula 3.
Yep, certainly have indeed. So expect them to be setting good lap times here this afternoon. A couple of drivers, of course, you won't be seeing at all. We've mentioned previously getting pushed up to Formula 2. Of course, Angelo and other name, Ben Marples. Of course, the 2 graduates from Formula 3 here.
And I feel like we can take some pride in knowing that the guys that we commentated on have been moved up to the next level.
Yeah, certainly have. Interesting name we got on the grid, P19. I wonder if that is indeed the famous music artist Doja Cat, who's decided to join us for a race here this afternoon.
Ah, now I was very confused at what that reference was, TK, because that name has not changed on my screen. That's still Gabriel Quinton.
Ah,
So I was thoroughly confused what Joe you were going for there. I was racking my brain. Doja Cat? Can I think of a reference to Gabriel Quinton? But yeah, there we go. I don't know
okay.
why that name was changed on your screen. Do you have them as a friend?
I don't know.
Oh, that's a very strange thing, then, isn't it? That's very odd indeed.
Well, there
Well,
you go, ladies and gents. For the foreseeable future, Gabriel Quintino will be known as Doja Cat. At least for this qualifying. Maybe it will refresh before we head into the race, but maybe it just hasn't updated in time. I'm not 100% sure.
well, all we know, it's not a bug, it's a feature, TK.
Very, very true.
And that's not even on F124. That's on Steam, I'm pretty sure. So that's very strange indeed. The sun's come out. I just saw some sunlight coming up as T.S. Korsman was running up Eau Rouge and Radion actually.
Yeah, already heading out for a second lap here. With how long the track is, drivers are wanting to get out and get those laps in as quick as they possibly can. Of course, ignore what it says in the top left-hand side of your screen. This isn't a Q1, Q2, Q3 session like you traditionally see in Formula 1. It's just a one-shot, 18-minute short qualifying session. And of that, there's 10 and a bit minutes left on our timekeeper's clock.
There certainly is. There certainly is. Now, of course, as you can see by our top 5 at the moment, kind of the top 5 you'd expect to see. Keanu Linhart, of course, as I said, mentioned, has an outside chance of championship glory, as well as, I believe, Daniel, I said, didn't I, that has the outside chance as well, down in 8th and 7th. So they'll be looking to move themselves up as well. But obviously the main man, the one that can really challenge Richard Sprague is Sixten Linhart. So he's going to need a good race because, to be honest with you, he's not had the luck on his side. I know you haven't been here recently, TK, but last round he did not have the luck on his side at Mexico.
I love how you say I haven't been here. I missed 1 week, and it's almost like I haven't
You've
been here for months.
forever.
I haven't been here for years, but no, I did catch some of the race last week. It was quite fascinating to watch, of course, racing in Mexico City, if I remember correctly.
It was, yes, and we'd like to thank Corey as well for stepping in for TK as well with his sublime accent. I must say, I was very fond of his accent.
Very much so. So T.S. Korsman gets us underway with the second run of hot laps, deciding to take out the pit border or the pit bollard just before he started that run, deciding that he wanted to get as much out of the track to prepare for the run as he possibly could. Someone's in chat, like replying to someone's asking where Yano is, and someone's put this is F3. And I just read it as if they're like chanting, "This is F3."
It is. This is Formula 3. It's brilliant. Yeah, Yano unfortunately isn't quick enough to be an F3,
He's not.
so that's why he's not here. If he was quick enough, that's what he'd be in the premium level, but he's not here.
Everyone knows F3 is where it's at on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Where else would you be on Thursday afternoon?
Exactly. Well,
It's not
unfortunately,
outside. It's raining.
it is. It's absolutely chucky down here in the UK. If you're not from the UK, I don't know how wet it is with you guys, but fortunately no safety cars out in qualifying at the moment. We had that lovely little feature yesterday in PCF1, so fortunately Bert Bylander has decided to stay in the pits this time.
Yeah, clearly not been given the call to run out onto the pit lane or onto the track. Indeed, I don't know what happened there last night. I was watching the stream. Very odd indeed. T.S. Korsman though, on a decent lap here. TK, he's improved by about 14 thousandths in the middle sector. You can't really gain a lot down this long straight. You've got to really wait until the braking point. That's where you can gain your time back.
Yep, indeed. Bus stop is the crucial moment. We'll see overtakes, especially on the exit of Blanchimont into bus stop. Jarno Opmer yesterday was favouring them left, right and centre, so we'll keep an eye and see if drivers want to do a very similar thing here this afternoon when we get into the race. But T.S. Korsman improves by 75 thousandths of a second. He's up to P3.
Just want to point out the man in second place race has invalidated their second lap time. They'd have to go, and Daniel out of nowhere with a 1:40.969. Nice. Good lap time there from Daniel to put himself on provisional pole.
Fantastic lap time there. More will start coming in thick and fast. We'll try and keep an eye. Unfortunately, a lot of the cars are rather dark on our mini-map, so it is hard to try and differentiate between the few of them. I will try my best to try and guess who's about where. I think Richard Sprague is, nope, completely other side of the track to where I'm guessing. I think we did just see a mover there for the line green car. Thomas Laminen up to P5.
Oh, and Keanu Linhart goes second fastest. As I was saying today, the two guys that are on the outside chance of championship glory have put it 1 and 2 on the grid.
They have indeed. Fantastic way to stamp your intentions clear for the rest of the season.
And here comes Sixten Linhart now, the man that can really challenge for that pole position. Rihard Sprague is only 9th. It's about 1/1000th away from Sixten Linhart's time. But that's about to change because Linhart coming up to the line. Can he take provisional pole? He can put it on the front row. And he misses out by, less than 1/10 of a second. Goodness me, that's close.
Yeah, 8/1000ths of a second is what separates Sixten Linhart and Daniel here at the top of your timing screens. Keanu Linhart, of course, only 18,000ths of a second separating himself and Daniel further up the field. So our entire grid at the moment, incredibly, incredibly close.
And Lillian is about to finish their next lap time. Lillian, the very bright yellow car, you can tell exactly what it is. It's not a Renault, because they're not on the grid anymore. So coming through the final corner now, into the bus stop chicane, one of the best corners in Formula 1. This track is just full of amazing corners. Now getting the exit, a little bit squirrely on the exit. Are they going to improve their lap time? Oh, they improve to 3rd. But they do not get towards the front row. They miss out by, less than 1/10 again, about 10,000ths of a second.
Yeah, 14,000ths of a second, Lillian up to Daniel. It's incredibly close. The top 4 separated by less than 200ths of a second here.
I'm going to say that's pretty mental, as we call it in the business. And I want to point out that your beloved Doja Cat has gone 7th fastest.
Yes. They're wanting to paint the town red this afternoon, according to a lot of... Oh no, people are hoping they don't paint the town red. Different intentions.
That a Doja Cat song?
That is a Doja Cat song, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not down with the youth. I don't know what... Who is this Doja Cat we speak of?
Well, we don't have much longer left in the session. I wonder if there's enough time for one more run, but it is still looking overcast. It's not anywhere clear, but interestingly enough, a lot of our drivers will obviously be setting times on dries. They have to reset the lobby in just a few moments' time. There is still the potential of rain in a race, and there is no way to predict it because there's no correlation between our race lobby and our qualifying lobby at the moment.
Yeah, as you said, the race lobby and qualifying lobby are completely separate, and it is approximate weather once again. And we know how Spa likes to put its downfalls. Of course, I'm sure we all remember where we were the day the 2021 Belgian Grand Prix happened. And I mean, the rain does come down, and unfortunately, race has disconnected from the session. I hope they can get back in for the last run.
Yeah, hopefully they can get back in, set another run, because they are P5 at the moment, so looking to challenge for that extra bonus point further up the field. So that could be a rather early heartbreak for the SRC driver, but we're on board with Legend as they set up for their second run. They decided to take the Lillian strategy, go out later than the rest of the field, and pretty much have the track to themselves.
This is their second and last run, I would assume. Oh, that was interesting. Breaking point into turn 1. I don't think they got that exactly the way they wanted.
No, you'd have to assume they're going to go for this as their last attempt, maybe only wanting 2 runs in this qualifying, but they do find themselves at the bottom of our qualifiers. Of course, Ryan Grob, I believe, serving a qualifying ban from last week from a steward's decision, so they will start down in P20. But Legend, who has the opportunity to qualify, 1.6 seconds off pace at the moment.
Around about 10th in that first sector. They're going to need to find more in the middle sector. I would assume their previous lap they made a big mistake, and that's what's cost them places down towards the back of the grid. Zach Miles is coming out of the pit lane along with pretty much the rest of the grid, but we're going to stay on board with Legend Rosenberg here as they look to finish their lap time. Now go through the left hand. Oh my goodness me! When I held my breath as they went through that corner. That's a high-speed corner to have a collision on.
Yeah, they got very lucky.
Yeah, I've seen it before. It's not a nice corner to crash on, but luckily they managed to save themselves. But I imagine, depends how much fuel they've got back. They got 1.4 laps of fuel on board. If they take it slowly, they will have enough time for one more lap.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a lot of lift and coast towards the line if they want enough for another quali run. Not sure how much those tyres are going to be burnt out. I think that realistically will be the question in their mind as to how much further they can take them without punishing them. Of course, Spa, it's a long circuit on these soft tyres, only expected to go about 5 or 6 laps at the absolute longest in a stint. But they are going to go again here, Alex, and they are going to hope for the best and try and get out of that P19 spot.
Yep, 1.2 laps of fuel on the dash, so into turn 1. Heavy braking zone once again, and that is the way to do that corner. Apparently, who knew? I didn't. So getting the acceleration down now, going towards Eau Rouge, and of course Radion, some of the best corners in Formula One. Takes your breath away to this day, and that will never not make me excited as a Formula One fan. DRS wide open here as we run down the main straight. Of course, so many famous moments on this straight. I'm sure we'll see some more this afternoon into the first sector, and already improved their time from their first attempt on this lap, as we saw just a minute ago.
Yeah, of course, naturally you'll expect them to go a little bit faster. Car is lighter, they got less fuel in that tank, and in towards the right-hander of Brachel's, in towards the left-hander of No Name. They are throwing that car about left, right and centre in the hopes of recovering whatever lap time they possibly can. It is literally make or break for them on this lap.
Well, they've made it through the corner that failed them last time. Now going through the middle sector. This is where you can gain so much time on this lap. This is why some drivers run a little bit more downforce than others, just for this middle sector alone. Oh, it's an invalidation on the right-hand side. And that will surely bring it in. You could see the understeer there, TK, couldn't you?
You could indeed. They couldn't keep it between the white lines. That's rather unfortunate. I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a setup change before they head into our race session.
And also just want to point out, race did get back in, but they did not get out in time for a lap time.
That is heartbreaking.
Certainly is. The man that will be looking to break many hearts this weekend, especially Mr. Richard Sprogis, is Sixten Linhart, who's just going up through Eau Rouge now. Daniel on his lap as well, sitting on provisional pole as Sixten Linhart runs down the main street. Could you imagine if we had Slipstream on right now, TK? The slipstream that these cars will be getting down the back straight would be insanity as Lyndon Roberg retires in turn 1. I'm not surprised. That's a qualifying I want to forget. But Daniel will be the first one to cross the line. Or will he actually? No, I think that's going to be, trying to keep an eye on where everyone is Zach Miles. So Zach Miles will be the first man to cross the line. Of course, all these cars with their dark liveries. It's hard to keep an eye on who's who. So here we go. Miles to the line now. Gets a decent X out of the corner. They're currently in 10th place. Can they jump themselves up with time sheets? They could jump themselves onto provisional pole. What a lap time that was from the SRC driver. So here comes Daniel. Daniel looks to take provisional pole, and he takes it back. He puts it on provisional pole himself. Thomas Laminen in the pit. Boba does not improve. Keeping an eye on other drivers crossing the line. Linhart is still sitting in the top 3, but needs a better lap time to try and take that extra point for pole position. Here he comes, the Richard Sprogis to the line. Where can he put his car? It's 10th, and 10th only for the championship leader. Keeping an eye on other drivers crossing the line. Keanu can only stay 5th fastest. Here comes... It comes, I think that was Lari goes 11th fastest. Of course, our second place finisher from last time out. Here comes Linhart to the line. Can he take provisional pole? He can take it, and he might just run away with it. He's got pole position unless Lillian could do anything about it. Lillian to the line. Gabriel Quinton goes second. Can Lillian take pole? No, they can't, which means Sixten Linhart is on pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic final runs there for absolutely everybody. Sixten Linhart stealing it by 17 thousandths of a second. Doja Cat in P2. They've got star power, and that is absolutely fantastic for themselves. 900ths of a second is where Lillian finds himself back in P3. We'll round out your qualifiers for this afternoon just very quickly. Daniel, P4. Zach, Keanu, Race, T.S. Korsman, Marcel Bega, and Thomas Laminen round out your top 10. And Richard Sprogis, P11. Larry, Tima, Danielle, Boba, Kuba, Yelte, Giovanni, Ledger, and Ryan Grob round out your top 20. And I apologise once again if I have butchered anybody's names. It's always going to happen.
It's what we're great at butchering names. We try not to. We genuinely try not to, but it does unfortunately happen. But you know a company that doesn't butcher names.
What's that, Alex?
Oh, they're GT Omega. And we're back.
We are indeed back. It's the mandatory lobby restart. It's always going to happen. So we're gonna chat for a little bit while we wait for everybody to sort themselves out in the background, get the ghosting turned back off, safety cars turned on, and we'll be ready to go racing.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lobby restart it's something we don't like. Both of us, we don't enjoy it. I know you guys in chat don't enjoy it either. But unfortunately, there's not really a lot we can do about it because of the way the rules have been set up for us. We're hoping, fingers crossed, one day it'll be fixed. But let's be honest, we're not holding our breath. So we're gonna be getting you some racing action very shortly. Of course, Spa 22 laps of Spa, which on a generic 50% race, you'd say that's not a lot of racing, but this circuit is so long. It is one of the longest. It is the longest circuit on the calendar. And I think it will stay that way for a long time because I don't imagine a circuit ever beating it in terms of length.
From what I recall, FIA regulations on track length have actually determined that no one can go longer than Spa is at the moment, especially in terms of longest straights and stuff like that. So I think for the foreseeable future, until the FIA decide that they want long tracks in again instead of the street circuits that were being given, I think Spa will definitely maintain that top step. But Alex, whilst we've got this brief lull and this little bit of downtime, should we go and remind ourselves of what the track does indeed look like for our drivers?
I think we should. I think we shall.
Well, here we go. If you haven't got accustomed to Spa-Francorchamps already, here it is on your screens. 4.35, 2 miles, 19 turns, and 2 DRS zones is what makes it up. A long run up the hill towards the chicane, and then a long run down again.
I mean, it's a circuit that is known for excitement, overtakes, and all that good stuff. I don't think I've ever seen a boring race around Spa.
I certainly haven't. I don't want to keep mentioning it. I saw a fantastic race last night.
Don't just keep, rubbing that one.
I just think it was a good. I saw Otis Lawrence in chat, and I kind of had to go. It was a nice.
Oh, Otis in chat.
Otis in chat, of course.
Hi, Otis. How you doing?
If you're in chat and you didn't catch last night, Otis of course won in a thrilling last lap battle where Thomas Ronhart had let's just say a repeat of E-Series if you caught that on Friday night as well. But we have got this brief intermission, hopefully not too much longer.
Yeah, it's like when you go to the theatre and there's an intermission between acts.
Yes.
Now, in the theatre, I don't know if you guys went as kids. I certainly did. You go get ice cream. There'd be little ice cream breaks. This is in the UK, by the way, so if you're in America, I do apologise. Or any other countries. There is more countries than just America, but you get ice cream and you come back, sit down, you watch the rest of the play. But for us, you guys can't go get ice cream. We have to try and fill the void of ice cream.
I think next time for our season finale, we should both buy little tubs of ice cream and just bring them for the intermission. But at the moment, we don't have them. We will just have to talk through. At the moment, we got a run in chat who was not only praising the commentary but said they've got 3 wins to their name at Spa in PSGL F1. So I'll take their word for it. I've got nothing to dispute that fact. As we've had in chats previously, we take a lot of people at our word in chat.
Yeah, let me get my fact book out.
Yeah.
Read.
Does that sound about right?
Yes, it is. That's actually a note from my dad to order something for him.
Nice.
But it was there as a prop, so I realised I also had to cover that up because it has some stuff on it that I should not have put on stream. But it's fine. It's all good. You can't read it unless you've got laser vision. Anyway, we're going to get started with this race shortly. The lobby has been reset, and we're just waiting for the drivers to ready up. Now, TK, if you were a betting man, which of course you're not, but if you were, who would your money be on?
Oh, it's a tough one. You've got so many fantastic drivers in this tier, and I say this probably week in, week out to a point where it becomes slightly oversaid, but I really do mean it. There are so many fantastic drivers in PCF3. I think you've got the likes of Rahad Swaggers, of course, not necessarily qualifying as well as they would have liked. I mean, you've got to root for Doja Cat, who I don't know if their name's actually changed back. I'd probably check in the lobby at the moment. Nope, it's still Doja Cat on my screen.
Let's see what mine says.
Of course,
mine says Gabrielle Quinton.
It's still Doja Cat. We'll figure it out. Chat saying Doja Cat as well. Of course, yeah. If you are in chat at home, let us know where your imaginary fake money is going on. Who you want to win for our drivers. I mean, you can never rule out either of the Korsmans either.
No, I mean, they've also had fantastic racing. And now, of course, we can't count out Lari, who was very much a surprise package in Mexico. I mean, not even themselves in that interview, they said they did not expect to be on pole and they did not expect to be challenging for that win. And they were, what, one lap away from winning that? They just lost it on the last lap. I mean, don't count them out. I think they're a bit further back this afternoon, but Spa is also known for very big incidents. We've seen them many times before. So, obviously these guys are professional drivers. I wouldn't expect them to have a massive crash. We haven't got any Maldonados on the grid. So I don't expect anything to happen. But you never know with Spa because it is such an old school circuit. It's one of the last great old school circuits on the calendar, next to Silverstone, and I genuinely hope we don't ever lose it in Formula One. But unfortunately, we don't get to make the rules, but we do on PSGL, and it will stay on the calendar for as long as it stays operational for the game, which I assume it will be forever.
I really hope so, especially when it comes to F1 esports as well. It is one of those tracks that brings just pure excitement. But just while we wait, we're not far off now, getting ready to go in F3 for the race. Let's go remind ourselves of how our standings look heading into this race. And Alex, why don't you talk us through them?
Now, of course, as we mentioned at the start of the stream, Angelo has been moved up to F2, so his points do not matter at the top of the standings right now. We are looking at Richard Sprogis, who is leading your World Championship on 52 points. As I mentioned, 2 11 places in a row, not one since Miami in the second round. Now, of course, the man chasing him is Sixten Linhart in the Alpine on 46 points. That's not a massive gap. Now, of course, that's actually 47 points after Linhart picked up pole position, which means he's only, if my math is correct, 5 points behind Richard's.
Yeah, that looks about right from what I can see on our screens at the moment. Yeah, according Sixten is 6 points behind at the moment.
6 points behind. Yes, I never claimed to be a math genius. And of course, Daniel in 5th place on 41. It's not out of the question that he can still win this championship, because if Richards has another bad result, another 11th place, and say Daniel finishes in second, and Linhart wins, it's so open still. It could still be anyone's championship.
Yeah, certainly could be. And we'll switch back to our appreciate you can't really hear us over the transition there, but I was saying we'll switch back. Interesting fact to note as well. I'm gonna do one for the statisticians at home. We did this last night as well. Pole position in the opening races of this season has never won a Grand Prix here in PCF3. They finished P2, they finished on the podium, but no one's ever converted that illustrious pole position to a race win.
Well, now that is a surprise. We've seen pole not worked out, and of course, remember in the first 2 races, Richards started 5th and 6th, and both won both races in those opening rounds. So I mean,
I think you just see what I've seen, Alex, because both of our faces did exactly the same thing at the same time. Let's show the viewers what we are just seeing on our screens here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a bit damp here at Spa-Francorchamps this afternoon. The rain is coming down here at Spa, and this is the joy of the lobby restart. Yes, we have to wait. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's frustrating, but we get opportunities like this, and it is raining here at Spa. Sixten Linhart, who would want a boring race from pole to victory, has now got to contend with changeable conditions.
Yeah, I think there's not going to be much change about these conditions in the slightest. It is looking very much damp here in Belgium. I wouldn't be surprised if we see potentially the full wet tyre coming out at some point. There's not many puddles on the track at the moment. It will be potentially the intermediates to start our drivers off, but it is definitely get an umbrella time here at Spa.
And see the intermediate times in the pit lane, so I assume that is what our drivers are on, but we're going to find out in a couple of moments time. Of course, you can see the famous Spa podium up there. Who will be standing on that podium? We're going to be finding out in 22 laps time, as the drivers are getting ready to begin this famous Grand Prix here at Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, there is a lot riding on the line. Of course, another win, another bad result for Richard Sprogis could really see his title charge crumble here at Spa. And here we go. The lights are coming on. It's your 5 red lights for Belgium. And we're underway, and everyone tiptoes their way off the line, but it's Linhart who gets a good start as we race down towards turn 1. Doja Cat is battling with Lillian as we race into turn 1. It is slow but steady as we get through the first corner. We're going to race up towards Radion and Eau Rouge. We got wheel-to-wheel battles going on through the pack. Surely you don't go wheel-to-wheel in the wet through the mid-pack, but Linhart has made an excellent start as he races down towards the first heavy braking point. And we've got a 2-wide battle. It's Lillian, it's Daniel as we race down the main straight. We've got a battle for the lead. Is Doja Cat going to fly around the outside of Sixter Linhart? He goes through. They brake so late into the corner. There's still wheel to wheel. A little tap there. Oh, they're all off the road. It's all going crazy. And Daniel sweeps through. Through goes Daniel. And he's up into the lead of the race.
Fantastic move there to retake the lead of the race. Sixter Linhart will have to settle for P2 for now, but Lillian is not done in any way, shape or form. Doja Cat just holding on to the last of the podium positions here as we race down the hill through now down towards Poo on that double left-hander. There's a car going off in the background. I think that is going to be Tima, but I think Marcel Vega and Keanu Lunter also having issues as we head around. That's a blue car going off in the background. That's Marcel, who's got all kinds of wrong, all kinds of off in through Poo on, but he's managed to trying to get back onto the track. There's a little bit of bumper cars going on, 3 cars going wide. Thomas Lauer and Boomer and himself getting involved now. They'll continue wheel to wheel. There's bumping, there's bashing, there's racing, and someone is missing part of a front wing.
So front wing flying off in several directions there. It's been a terrible start for our championship leader. He's down in 17th place here on the opening lap. A horrendous start indeed. He's got a lot of ground to make up, and turning our attention back to the lead of this Grand Prix, it is Daniel who leads ahead of Linhart, who leads Gabrielle Quinton, also known as Doja Cat. It is definitely the exciting start we wanted here at Spa, and it always delivers as expected. We've got Marcel going around the outside there, or is that Kuba trying to go around the outside of Marcel as they're battling into the final corner? We're going to get a good exit here, riding on board with Kuba. Can he get the move done into turn 1? Will he brake later? No, Marcel Vega later, a lot later, but it does not matter because Kuba says, I am going to go through this no matter what you say, and he gets through. He's up into 12th place.
Yeah, fantastic move there. Wheel to wheel in the bus stop chicane. Didn't give up when they had the traction out of the final corner, and it was all the way into La Source actually. They continued to battle it out, but as we now crest the hill, Eau Rouge and Rally on lap 2 of 22. Normally we'd see DRS being activated here, but of course, being wet, we are not going to be seeing that anytime soon. There's battles going on further back. There's a 4-way fight for P16 here, and it's Legend all the way down to, I believe, Ryan Grobber, Yelte Korsman, and all the guys at the back trying to shuffle up, get amongst themselves, and sort that pack out. We'll put tyres up on the screen, because normally about now people are coming in chat asking for it. As expected, everybody on the intermediates. Happy? Happy.
I assume that will stay the way for most of this Grand Prix, but it looks like the weather's not changing. Oh, we got a car off into the gravel, and Shriver's somehow avoiding that as Booba comes back on the track. Rather, well, I'd say rather dangerously, but there's not really a lot of other options on this circuit unless you want to go face full gravel. But yeah, it's not been a good start for our championship leader. Down in 16th place. But down the inside goes Rosenberg. That's a tight one indeed. Can he force it round the outside? Surely not. There's going to be a little push, a little shove in there from Daniel, as I think Daniel was, well, maybe a little bit overly aggressive. But we got Marcel Vega battling with Giovanni towards this final section. Surely they're not going to go wheel to wheel in the wet conditions. Giovanni surely backed out of that one, and unsurprisingly so, does not want to go wheel to wheel through Blanchimont.
Yeah, smart racing there, just backing out, preserving the tyres, preserving any potential front wing they don't want to afford to lose. Of course, long race, long pit lane as well. They can't afford to give it up as Rahad Sprog is getting involved further back. He's past Rosenberg. Tima getting past Yelte Korsman. Lillian setting the fastest lap of the race here into turn 1. They thought about a move. They've just backed out. But I have got some news for you, Alex. Bova, the reason they're running slowly and now almost into the pit lane, I'm assuming, is because they've lost their front wing.
Front wing has gone. I assumed by that collision into the wall coming into the gravel trap they would have lost some front wing, but Lillian is getting a great exit there up through Eau Rouge. Of course, DRS would normally be enabled, as you mentioned, TK, but it's all down to the power of Slipstream and ERS, and Lillian has not got any to spare. Clearly, Gabrielle Quinton or Doja Cat is running a lot of high speed compared to Danforth. There is also a big gap now, TK, as we've got a 3-wide battle towards the back of the grid between Giovanni and Marcel Vega. This is 12th and 13th battling. And then there's a 3-second gap to the rest of the pack. That is not the news Richard Sprogges wants to be hearing, because he's just watching this go down. Is he going to try and fire his way around the outside of 3 cars on this corner? Surely not, as we go towards No Name corner. And this is madness towards the back of the grid here, TK.
Yeah, this is not what our championship leader would want to be seeing at all, of course. Not only would the battle be putting him off, but that gap continuing to ever extend between Giovanni and Thomas Laminen, 12th and 13th places respectively. And they will continue through this Grand Prix. There's not going to be much relief in sight. No DRS, of course, to pull them forward as Danielle looks for a move down the inside. Almost a little bit of a touch between themselves and Marcel Vega. I think they've kept it clean amongst themselves. They have, but Richard Sprogges is still in amongst that pack, getting rather boxed in.
Yeah, and as the race goes on, Marcel picks up the first time penalty. Oh, I'm sure many we're going to see through this Grand Prix. He's not going to be the only one to do it. We've got a battle for the lead though, TK. Sixten Linhart is right there and ready for Daniel's P1. Can't make the move stick though. But TS Korsman is trying to fire around the outside of Keanu Linhart. Or are we going to see a little bit of a move here from Mr. Korsman? Not on this occasion. Can't make the move stick. Zach Miles holding on to the back of his pack as we've got Lendon Rosberg and Zelenkovic battling towards the back of the Cooper sets the fastest lap of the race. Wow, that's sort of in the mid-pack. That's quite a statement lap time there from our 10th place runner.
Yeah, certainly is indeed. Someone in chat said keep an eye on TS Korsman. They are fantastic in the wet, and they are starting to prove that in P7 at the moment. Of course, up 1 position from where they once started. Larry Tulke up 4, Kuba and Giovanni up 6 respectively amongst themselves, but the lead of the race has changed hands here as Sixten Linhart retakes from where he began. Daniel will have to wait down in P2. Doja Cat holds on to P3 as well after an attempted move by Lillian, but they're not done yet as they head around the right-hander down towards Brochelle's. There's a little bit of a kick out, poor exit from Doja Cat here. That's going to allow the yellow card down the inside. There's contact between Doja Cat and Daniel. That's going to allow Lillian through the inside. Doja Cat dropping positions left, right and centre.
Just been pushed off there by Zach Miles, and Keanu Linhart has also made the move stick. Goodness me, that's a bad couple of corners for Doja Cat. It is all fallen apart. They say cats have 9 lives. Well, they've definitely lost 5 there.
They have indeed. They've lost 5 lives and 5 positions by the looks of things, and they will have to try and recoup what they have just lost. But they have got no rest for the wicked, as they say. I think T.S. Korsman right on their gearbox, and that is like having Lewis Hamilton in your rearview mirror, because in the wet conditions, we know how quick this driver has been as we continue. Lap 4 of 22. Don't expect any stellar lap times at the moment. Don't expect us in the 140s, because, of course, the rainy conditions causing the lap times to be slower. But do expect some fantastic racing as we continue through. There will be probably one more pit stop at least for every driver, if not a second, depending on how well these intermediate tyres hold on.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how well they hold on, because, to be honest with you, TK, as T.S. Korsman makes a move there, or is it Lari? Is Lari going to go for it? Round the outside, look at the extra grip. But the man who finished 2nd place last time out is almost getting the wet master himself up in 7th place. But I said something has awoken Lari in these last few races. I mean, that pole position in Mexico to 2nd place as well, I think it's really opened up their potential here, TK.
It certainly has indeed. They've shown great courage and determination in the last couple of races, and I really hope that Spa continues their run of form they have been showing. If there's ever a time to do it, it's on the run down to the final races of the season. Some fantastic Grand Prix are coming our drivers' way over the next few weeks. Of course, finishing up in Brazil in a mere few weeks' time. Boba gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane and subsequently retires. And I think that was to be expected with how long Spa is, needing to do another pit stop to serve that penalty. That could be an easy race ender.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were so far back as well, TK. I mean, it's one of those things that obviously you never want to see a driver give up, but in those situations, I think sometimes you don't have a choice.
No, certainly not. For our championship leader at the moment, Richard Sprogges, down in P14. He's not managing to get past Marcel Vega at the moment. Of course, the gap still between Giovanni and Thomas Laminen, 4 and a bit seconds between themselves, and even that, Thomas Laminen has 1.4 seconds up the road to Cuba. So there's a considerable gap between our front pack, our front peloton, shall we call them, and the rest of the field further behind.
Yeah, and what's the play here for Richard, do you think? Just not pit? Does he try and do the whole race on one set of instants?
Question is, can he make the tyres last, especially when you're in a pack like this, battling as hard as he's going to be? It's really going to be a question of can he afford to, and I don't think the answer is going to be yes, especially as he tries to go side by side here with Marcel. Can he get the better of him as they run through Blanchimont here for the 5th time? But up at the lead of the race, Keanu Luntart's got past Zach Miles as they exit out the bus stop chicane. Is Zach Miles just holding on? You can see them wheel to wheel as they come across the line in towards the source, and it is Zach Miles that pips out the FVR driver at the moment.
This is a tasty battle here, TK. I mean, they were properly sending it into each other in the bus stop chicane. I mean, no love lost between these two drivers. I don't imagine I have any history racing on track, but clearly there's some no love lost between the two drivers. As we're going to see Gabriel Quinton, Doja Cat is going to go for 1. Are they going to go for 2? They're going to get 3 of their lives back, but more importantly, they're going to get 3 of their places back. They're up into 4th place. Oh, as Linhart goes for it, and it's broken their front wing on the back of Zach Miles.
Was that Zach Miles that... I thought that was Zach Miles that broke their front wing. That looks where the damage came from. I'll wait to see. We're on a helicopter shot at the moment. Yeah, definitely front wing damage for Keanu Luntart there, so that is really unfortunate. Not necessarily a race ender at the moment. We know how easy it can be with a high-speed setup, but they will struggle in the later sections, especially through Paul Frere and through Blanchimont as well.
Certainly will, and they will not be happy with, I believe, what they'll consider a late move from Zach Miles. But of course, I'm not a steward, TK. That's why I'm in the box and not over in the steward's room.
Very much so. We do not get involved in those instances. We just love to shout about them 9 times out of 10.
Certainly do. Now, there's some gaps forming here, TK, between different packs. Of course, it's front 3 of Sixten Linhart, Lillian and Daniel, all in the top 3. And then we've got Quinton back down to Kuba. And then we have got Thomas Lamlin kind of on his own there. And then Giovanni Rihard, a few other drivers. But here's Tiers Korsman, going to go for it around the outside of Blanchimont. Surely not. A bit too far back on this occasion, but they might consider a move into the bus stop chicane. Are they going to go inside? Are they going to go outside? They're covering off the inside line. The outside line does open up for them. Oh, can they slow the car down? They can't really, as Larry says, thank you very much, son. And he gets through, and he's up into 7th place, as Race says, I'm going to take advantage of that as well, and gets a decent exit. Will they fire it around the outside of Tiers Korsman? Are they going to brake late enough? They certainly aren't, as almost kicks out the rear end there of Korsman, as Race unfortunately can't make that move stick. But Korsman, little bit of a mistake there in the braking point, did not get that correct, lost the rear end and allowed Lowry to get through.
Yeah, we were riding on board with Korsman into the bus stop chicane there. It was a very scary moment when he locks his front brakes. Couldn't do anything about it, but there's been a change at the lead of the race here. Alex Lillian has taken it away from Sixten Linhart in towards the Lecombe chicane. The race clutch driver, fantastic driving at the moment, clutching at straws, but managing to get a firm hold on this one.
Certainly up into P1, and I can certainly tell you, TK, the rain has stopped here at Spa-Francorchamps.
It has indeed. The track's still considerably damp, but no more rain coming down. I wonder, the question now in our drivers' minds, and of course their engineers as well, will be, when do they come into pits for the soft rubber or medium rubber to see this race out, and is it worth it with how wet the track is remaining?
You know what? There's one man I would take the bet on, Rihard Sprogis. If you're down in 13th place, you're quite far off your championship contenders. You've got nothing really to lose being 13th. Just give it a go. Stick on a set of mediums, stick on a set of softs, and just see what you can do. Because let's be honest, when these guys are going to put on dry tyres, there could be incidents on track. All you've got to do is keep it going in a straight line, and there's always a chance of points.
Very much so. The drivers are so close together at the moment. They're starting to form up. You can see the battle 7th through 9th at the moment. Larry Tukey, Tiers Korsman and Kuba as well in P9, practically pushing the drivers through. I think Keanu Luntart is not far off this as well. You can see all of them close together. Tiers Korsman does go for it round the outside of the opening corner of the bus stop chicane. Into the left-hander he goes. And I think he's going to make the move up on Larry Tukey. They'll have Keanu Luntart in his sights as Lillian sets the fastest lap of the race up in the lead.
They certainly do, and they'll be wanting not to lose the lead here before the change on the pit stop window, because they would have seen the weather change. Of course, their engineers will have all the data. They will want to be leading going into the pit stop phase, and of course, DRS will likely be enabled very shortly, TK, with the lack of weather coming down. But Zach Miles is looking here at Doja Cat. Will they find an opportunity into the braking zone? No, they will not. They're a bit too far back on this occasion. Kuba, on the other hand, says, thank you very much. Moves up into what is 8th place. And down the inside goes Race. A little bit too far back on this occasion to make the move stick. And we'll have to stay in 10th place. But Larry just dropping a little bit back now. But yeah, who is going to take that first gamble? Who's going to say, it's time for dries. And right now, it looks like they're all still sliding about.
Yeah, it certainly does. You can see the gloss on the circuit as well, as Ryan Grob picks up a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Joins Marcel Bego, who's down in P19. Really poor run of form at the moment. They haven't seemed to find any grip after that early collision, so they're all the way down in last place of our remaining runners. But yeah, the question will be, when do we pit in? When does the when does DRS become activated? And of course, when is it going to be optimal conditions to put slick tyres on? But the track at the moment is not drying up as quick as you would expect.
No, because it's still very cold here, TK. There's no real sun coming out. So the track is basically just wet. And it's just sort of damp wetness. And that's the worst type of wetness, I can tell you that.
That's very much true. Cheers, Korsman, though, going for a move on Keanu Lintar as they head through Blanchimont round the outside. Swooped it round. Beautiful move. And up to P6.
I'm just waiting to see that first driver who's going to... You know, who dares wins, TK? That's what they say. Who dares wins. And that 152.9 from Lillian might point out that the track is drying.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's an indication to a lot of the drivers that those tyres are getting quicker in these conditions, but only... They will continue to improve lap after lap. The track gets drier, but you can only get to a certain kind of moment in this race until they do not become any better than the rest of them.
Well, Linhart is not enjoying whatever conditions we're in right now, TK.
It's not indeed, but I tell you who is, Zach Miles with a fantastic overtake on Doja Cat as they reach the top of Radion before the DRS would have even come into play had it been enabled. They were practically side by side at the top of Radion. The move made before the straight was even in occurrence, and Lecom was a nice breaking point for themselves up to P4, and they are liking these conditions.
They certainly are. This is what we like to call the crossover point, I think. I think we're reaching the crossover point now. As Yelp Korsman picks up a 3-second time penalty. So the brother, of course, of T.S. Korsman up in 6th place. And now Korsman's found himself in a good position, TK. But as obviously, he's much better in the wet, but he's no slouch in the dry.
Not at all. He's had some fantastic results this season. Maybe not as much as he would have liked and as consistent as he would have liked. But he's not one you can rule out ever for those points-paying positions and maybe even the podium positions as well. Quite often, he'll be there or thereabouts, and I think, not necessarily this season, maybe next season, he'll see a lot of wins starting to come his way.
Well, we all remember his famous Spanish second place this season. I mean, that was glorious. That wasn't his brother, was it? That was him, I'm pretty sure.
I'm 90% sure it was. We'll have a look at the standings later and remind ourselves of whereabouts everyone finishes. But the question is anyone going to dive into the pits lastminute.com? And at the moment, everyone's just staying out.
Yeah, I think it's still a bit too damp out on circuit.
Kuba's...
Well, I say that, and someone decides to shut me up. Kuba is in the pit lane here, TK. Mediums, would you imagine?
Probably, I don't know, it's 12 laps till the end. It could be a hard tyre situation because you will be pushing those mediums unless you get a safety car for a little bit of relief. But of course, DRS not yet activated. It is mediums for Kuba in the pit lane, the only driver in at the moment. And we'll keep an eye on who else dives in. Now, the question I'm asking, Alex, and this is probably more of a stream question than a race question. How long is it until we get asked for what tyres everybody's on?
Well, I assume when DRS gets enabled, because then everyone will dive into the pit. I'll keep an eye on Kuba while you watch the racing, see how he does on his first outage on the medium tyre.
Do you say you're going to watch him or are we watching him? You got yourself confused.
I'm going to watch it.
Okay. We'll
You're
watch
going
the
to
top
watch
two.
racing.
Well, second and third at the moment. We'll stay on board with Sixth and Lintar. We'll keep you on updated with the rest of the race. And there we go, Timo Kilpers asking, albeit a little bit too early, for what tyres everybody is on. I know I had to mention it at some point, but Keanu Lintar not far off the back of T.S. Korsman. Thought about a dive there, but Race trying to hold one round the outside as they head through the campus right-hander. He's going to try and wait for it. He hasn't got the move made this time around, but he's got to be patient because he's got Larry Tukey waiting on his gearbox at the moment. The drivers 6th, 7th and 8th and 9th respectively, all in a bit of a mini pack here. No one is safe at present. But Alex, going back to you, how is Kuba doing on this opening lap?
Little bit slippery. He looked good through the first sector. The middle sector, it's sort of drying, but coming through no name. Sixton's in. Well, he must have seen something that I haven't, but the lap times are definitely better. Those people are coming into the pits here, TK. Everyone is pulling in. But of course, our main one we need to look at is the man challenging for the championship. It's Sixton Linhart. Needs a good pit stop here.
He does indeed. Interesting enough, 3 SRC drivers all into the pits together. So I think they're all engineered by the same person as well. So that would make a lot of sense because Sixton, Zach Miles, and I believe Race was in as well. Yes, they are. So let's have a look at the tyres, see what everybody's gone on. And actually, it's not a general consensus at the moment. A lot of drivers on the medium tyres, but Race and Larry Torquay have chosen the white-walled hard tyres to see this race out.
And they're going to be hard to warm up here, TK. They are going to be tricky to warm up. Kuba's found himself up in 14th place. So I think he's actually lost a couple of places to guys that were ahead of him as Rosenberg gets a time penalty there. Linhart already making a place up ahead of Zelenkovic up into 8th place. So surely Lillian, Daniel, Gabriel, Keanu, Brogis all in the pits.
Yeah, interesting thought you had there about the tyre temperatures. We saw this in Silverstone in real life earlier this year. Yes, the mediums will be easier to warm up to their operational temperature, but the harder tyres will have a lower working temperature, so they don't need to achieve that much heat to get the lap times that you need out of them. So I wonder if the hards could be a bit of a tactical play here, as we see Sixton Luntard going really wide as they exit out of Pouon there, as we see someone called Chevalier join.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. Can't really do anything with that. Larry Tukey gets a time penalty. As Race has actually had a little bit of a mistake there. I think they've gone slightly off track because they've just lost a position to Larry. I'm just watching these hard tyres, TK. They are really struggling out there.
Yeah, they are indeed. They are not doing as well as our drivers would have thought. I tell you what, Larry Tukey is actually managing making them hold on at the moment. The track has dried up. Lillian stays out, but Daniel is into the pit lane. Doja Cat is staying out because they don't do life like that. Keanu Luntard is in. Rehard Sprogis almost certainly in. And Keanu Luntard speeding in the pit lane.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row now. I think he did it in Mexico as well.
Oh, no.
Oh, Keanu. Well, where does that put Sixton Linhart? Surely ahead of Daniel. It's going to be close, actually. It's going to be very close indeed. As we come around the final corner, who's got the grip as we go towards Eau Rouge? And Radion DRS is still not enabled. Is Linhart going to go for it into Eau Rouge? He certainly is. And he takes ahead of Daniel.
Fantastic, optimistic move there. He had the warmer tyres.
Oh, it was dropped in Eau Rouge.
Oh, we have had Race. Is that in the pits?
I think he knew he made a mistake on those hard tyres. He must have got wing damage.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would not have seen that coming. I guess they had that instant earlier in the last lap, potentially unrecoverable damage, or as you said, wing damage that probably wouldn't be worth repairing. We won't see a safety car for this if they've retired in the pit lane, as Giovanni gets a 3-second penalty. They are starting to rack up as well. We'll have a brief reminder of what everybody's on. All of them on 3 seconds, apart from Keanu Luntard, who of course is on 10 seconds for that speeding the pit lane violations. Sixton Luntard massively going off the track at Pouon there.
That was a big snap. The track is still not declared dry, TK, because the DRS has not been enabled.
Very true. And that could play to the advantage of Doja Cat and Lillian in Ps1 and Ps2 respectively. I think they're actually holding a good delta to Sixton Luntard further behind the medium or the soft runners. Sorry, medium or the hard runners. Actually not making as much time up as they would have liked, but Lillian is into the pit lane this lap. I wonder if Doja Cat will do the same. DRS has been enabled from race control. That is what we are waiting for. Track is now dry.
He's now declared dry, but where is this going to put them here, TK? Lillian already onto the medium tyres, so they're coming down the pit lane at, I think, 37 miles an hour. It's quite a slow pit lane here, as we're going to race down towards turn 1. Linhart, of course, sets the fastest lap of the race. Now, Lillian can put their foot down. Linhart's got to hit the braking point. Where's Lillian going to come out? And I think Lillian's going to come out in P1 and possibly out of DRS range.
Yeah, they will be indeed, because the activation point before they head down into Eau Rouge and Radion, and Sixton Luntard has not been as close to Lillian as they would have liked. Doja Cat has come out in P5, but they have got Tias Korsman right behind them as they crest the hill. Daniel's made an advantage on Sixton with that DRS, the first bout that our drivers will have been gifted as they head down the Kemmel Straight. Tias Korsman doing a very similar thing. He's passed Doja Cat up to P5. Kuba making a move past Larry Tukey. Thomas Laminen deciding to join in as well. So the DRS very powerful here, with a lot of drivers running high downforce setups, planning for the wet weather conditions. And of course, the moment that rear wing opens, they get an extra straight line speed gifted to their cars.
They certainly are. Now, of course, you may think that this is not a good position for Linhart because, of course, he is trying to chase our championship leader. Well, our championship leader is in 11th place with a 3-second time penalty and 3 seconds off the points, DK.
He certainly is indeed. Richard Sprogis has not had the race to remember here at Spa. We're over that half race distance. We've got 9 laps of racing to go when we cross that start-finish line for the next opportunity. And at the moment, Richard Sprogis out of the points, and this could be 3 P11 finishes in a row if the race stays the way it is.
And this would also put Linhart leading the World Championship.
It certainly would. If my maths is correct and your maths is correct, that would put him at top spot.
Well, we all said it. We all thought a title fight was off, but it's been put back on.
Certainly has. We've had 2 drivers promoted to Formula 2, which is always fantastic to see, and we wish them the best of luck going forward. But the title fight here in PSGL PCF3 is far but over, with 3 rounds to go. Once we finish up here in Belgium, it is in anybody's hands. Sixten Linhart at the moment has the advantage over Richard Sprogis, who mentioned earlier on in the day that he's not able to practice as much as he would have liked due to real life commitments, and this could really hamper his opportunity to become a season champion in PSGL season 37.
Here comes Sixten Linhart. Is Linhart going to go for it? I think Daniel and Linhart are working together here, TK, to try and pull closer to Lillian.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic opportunity between themselves. Doja Cat gets back past T.S. Korsman, the move that was stolen from him last lap around Thomas Lamminen, up past Kuba. Giovanni has passed Richard Sprogis, so it's gone from bad to worse for our championship leader. And actually, they now have Danielle on their rear gearboxes as well. T.S. Korsman, another 3-second penalty to their name, and Ryan Grob, who's got, I believe, 6 seconds to his name as well. Yep, he's got past Legend Rosenberg for P17. We'll try and challenge Marcel Baker. It's a purple sector 1 for the gold-plated car. But at the moment, the penalties will really hamper them as we finish off this race.
Now, we should point out here, TK, of course, we're talking about Linhart taking the championship lead, if our maths is correct. But Daniel could take second.
He certainly could.
In the championship. I mean, we were saying that he's an outside chance, but with still 3 rounds to go once we leave Belgium. If he finishes in a good result here, say he wins this Grand Prix, we could be going for a 3-way title fight going into the final 3 rounds.
So from what I'm hearing from chat, apparently if Sixten finishes P3, Daniel P2, it would be Sixten leading the championship. Daniel and Richard would be equal on points, joint P2, if that's the way it finished this afternoon.
And what would the gap between Linhart and those 2 be?
No idea. I'm just reading what chat have told me.
Oh, can chat work that out?
Timo, you're up. You are a mathematician for this afternoon. If we can get some
Lillian's
calculations
pulling
done.
away here, TK.
They are. I wonder if the battling is a little bit too much between Daniel and Sixten Linhart. It's not gone the way as Tima has disconnected from the session. P15 is where they find themselves at the moment. Doja Cat getting back past Zach Miles. So Doja Cat is certainly bringing Doja back.
Of course, Kuba up into 8th place as well. Kuba, without a time penalty to their name, would end up in 7th place as it stands because Keanu Linhart, of course, has that 10-second time penalty. They were the first driver to go onto the softs, onto the mediums. If you remember correctly.
They were indeed. It was an early pit stop for themselves, but at the moment it's certainly working out. They have that extra lap to get some heat into their tyres. Timo said I'm engineering, I CBA to do maths. That's fair enough.
You know what? We'll forgive you.
This time.
But next time, don't let it happen, alright?
We expect better when we head to Italy next week out.
Yeah, exactly. Is it Monza or Imola?
Yes.
Good. Good answer. Or Mugello. Is it Mugello?
I really hope it's Mugello. I love Mugello. But anyway, focusing on the racing that we have here in Spa-Francorchamps this afternoon, Zach Miles is on the back of Doja Cat. T.S. Korsman is being dragged along with them, so the top 6 close together. But actually, you know, we said Lillian is pulling away. That gap has closed by 3/10 in the last lap, and Daniel says the fastest lap of the race to boot, and actually has dropped Sixten Linhart way out of his own DRS.
He certainly has. Daniel, my son, go on. What a lap time that was. I know it was probably because of the DRS down the back straight, but still, that's a bonkers lap time there for Daniel. What can he do? Can he win this Grand Prix? Is there an outside championship fight? And I think it's not an outside championship fight now. I think the championship fight is on.
I think you might be right. I think the issue they're going to have here, Sixten and Daniel were working together really well to try and drag each other closer to Lillian. And now that Daniel doesn't have that DRS and was actually really low on ERS as we looked as he headed up Eau Rouge and Radion, he's dropping time hand over fist up to our race leader. That gap that was at 1.4 seconds as they headed through La Source is now back closer to 1.8 seconds. And they've lost every little bit of inroads they made on that last lap.
Unless, TK, he's not playing that game anymore because he knows where he can end up in the championship.
Very, very possible.
Does he want to give the man behind him more of an opportunity to get some more points on him?
You say that, but Sixton's making the time back in that last lap alone.
I think Daniel's backed off to give him DRS.
Yeah, they know they've got to work together. If they want the race win, they've got to work as a team to try and chase down that yellow emblazoned car that stands in front of them on the grid at the moment. It's almost taunting them now, 2 seconds up the road, but Sixton well within DRS range as we head into the bus stop chicane to start lap 17 of 22. 6 laps of racing remaining. And yeah, we need Timo and chat. We need Sixton to close. We need Sixton to have our DRS to close the gap. Exactly what we've been saying.
Like we know what we're talking about.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it does occasionally happen. Someone that I think has been very impressive in this race is Zach Miles. Up in P6 right now. He's had a great drive.
Yeah, Timo saying I'm assuming we had to back off. Part of chat is cut off for me. So whatever the last word is there, I'm assuming it's back off. But that would make a lot of sense why Daniel has slowed back down to allow Lundar to catch back up and they will work together once again in the 5.5 laps of racing we have remaining here to potentially try and cut that gap down. But bear in mind, Lillian has gained over a second on Daniel whilst they were doing that to try and catch up. Lillian's pace has been outstanding this afternoon. It would be a well-deserved race win. But who doesn't love a race down towards the finishing line?
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many close races this year, and I mean, this one has been another banging race. Of course, we have the wet to start with, and we've had this dry section, which has been incredible racing as well. And of course, we're going to have a little bit of surprise towards the end, I'm sure. And of course, we're going to have, as it stands, a new championship leader going into the final 3 rounds.
I'll tell you what, I could not have predicted that a couple of rounds ago. I couldn't have predicted the drivers being promoted to F2 in that alone. But to put a new championship rival on the table in the bout of one race, to see Sixton Lundar and Daniel step up, chase down Richard Sprogis after what has been a poor 3 races by his regard. It could be 3 P11s as it stands at the moment. This is going to be a fantastic championship fight to see the season out.
It certainly is going to be something else towards the final 3 rounds of PCF3. Do not go anywhere, folks. It's all going to kick off. And of course, we're just keeping an eye on this battle for Lindhart. 3 seconds now, the gap between Lillian and Daniel. Lillian is checking out of this Grand Prix as it stands.
Yeah, well, they were promised a Spa weekend, but they've come to a Spa weekend and they put foot to the floor and they are well off in the distance. Daniel and Sixton will have to chase it down hand over fist to try and get anything out of this race. Anything better, of course, than a podium on which they currently stand. They've got to be careful not to battle too hard because they could see hopes and dreams destroyed in the number of corners, all 19 that present here on this circuit. Zach Miles got past T.S. Godman as Ryan Gropp has retired in the pit lane. So that will see the TF10 driver getting 0 points out from this race. Again, a disappointing afternoon from their perspective. They would have liked a lot more from this race, but unfortunately it will end with an early shower.
Someone's point out here is Larry Tukey, who obviously went onto the hard tyres, just made a move up on Thomas Laminen. Have the hard tyres starting to come into their own here on lap 7? We've got a yellow flag in the final sector. I think the first sector, I think that's just Ryan coming out the pit lane. So
yeah, that's just Ryan's car.
Shouldn't matter too much. It's definitely not become sunny here at Spa, has it?
No, it's brightened up from where we were 18 laps ago, of course. There's a little bit of sun on the circuit, but it's nowhere means hot. It would certainly be a big coat if you're from down south of the UK, or just a nice hoodie if you're from the north.
And if you're from the north, nothing. As we racing down towards the bus stop chicane once again, there's a man we need to keep an eye on here, TK. Or should I say not a man, a cat in 4th place.
Wow, they used up 5 of their lives earlier. They've got 4 remaining. And of course, they've got that many laps to contend with as well. 19, 20, 21 and 22. 4 laps to go here. 16 miles to contend with. And can Doja Cat get involved in this podium fight? I think the answer is well and truly yes. But the question will be, Can Zach Miles, Tiers Korsman, and Keanu Luntar, maybe not Keanu Luntar, he's 5.5 seconds away, but can Zach Miles and Tiers Korsman get involved? They're only about 2 seconds off, but every single straight, Doja Cat is losing out because of the DRS that is being assisted with Sixten Luntar and Daniel.
And Daniel did not pass him there. Did you see that, TK? Didn't go past him.
I did.
I think they've given up on Lillian. I think this is a battle for second now between the two. As Kuba puts after him 7th. I should apologise. There we go.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Sixten and Daniel have realised that battle is no longer for the lead of this race. It is a battle amongst themselves for who takes 2nd and 3rd step respectively on that podium, and maybe as well they know they've got the impending cat chasing them down like a mouse in front of them. Doja Cat will be wanting that podium more than anything. Zach Miles just behind as well, and they are dropping back from Doja Cat, but Doja Cat is now within that 1 second DRS advantage. They'll have it as they head in towards the bus stop chicane. The question will be now ERS management, and we're riding on board with the cat themselves. Look at the battery life that they have got, over 70% in that tank, and more than enough to pounce as we finish up this Grand Prix.
They certainly will. They'll be looking to dump that battery down the back straight. And can they possibly make it a perfect finale here at Spa-Francorchamps? Oh, my brain really came up with that one quickly as we race on to lap 20.
Yeah, 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and 3 positions are the ones that are being contested up at the lead of this race. Sixten, Daniel and Doja Cat all getting involved. And Maximilian in chat saying Daniel is involved in the 2v1 now. Very, very true. He's got 2 drivers surrounding him. He's got Sixten in front and Doja Cat behind him. What will the outcome be as we head down the Kemmel Straight into Les Combes? Will Daniel go for the overtake this time around? I think they are going to. They pull alongside Sixten Linhart, take the position, and Sixten slots in behind them to try and get any outs of slipstream that they can possibly afford.
As you said, TK, you said to me off camera, and you probably said it on stream as well, you do not want to be the lead car on this final lap.
I didn't say that. I said that before we went broadcasting. I said it a couple of times prior to that as well. And I think we can rule out our race leader. But in the situation that we want to find ourselves in now, no one in this front 3 wants to be our race leader into the Les Combes chicane, because that is what's happened in the last 2 races in PSGL that we've had here in Spa, and it has not ended well for either of them. The driver that led into Les Combes has ended up not winning the race, or at least winning their battle.
I want to point out, our championship leader is in 10th place, TK.
But with penalties to his name.
3-second time penalty, so they would drop them out of the points as it stands. Can we keep an eye on Larituki? Look how much pace he has gained on those hard tyres. He's right on the back of Kuba. Of course, he does have a time penalty as it stands, but he's had a cracking race once again.
He certainly has indeed, and the hard tyres are really starting to come into their own, as you've said. I think the mediums could be facing potentially some drop-off issues in the last 2 laps of racing here. It'll be crucial to see where that crossover period is, and I wonder if Larry can do anything at the moment. I think his best result that he could hope for at the moment is P7. You can see the gap between Keanu Luntar and Zach Miles at over 6 seconds now. You're not going to be able to chase that down as we enter the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. It's going to be a fascinating finish. It's almost certainly going to go the way of Lillian in our race victory, but the question will be, who will be on our podium here?
There we go, on the penultimate lap. Who's going to make that move? Is Gabriel Quinton. Is Doja Cat going to pounce? Here we go. As Linhart goes into 2nd, Gabriel Quinton goes into 3rd and is ahead of Danielle. But Daniel's surely in the best position for the final lap.
Yeah, this is where they would like to be. I think Sixten actually could be in a fantastic position here. If they allow themselves in a way to get overtaken into the Les Combes chicane, they'll have the advantage as they run down through Blanchimont into bus stop. We've got a yellow flag further back. As legend Rosenberg retires in the pit lane, whilst Alvega will be handed a free position, but it won't be too much relief for themselves, as themselves and Tima dropping down way out of positions, way out of the point-paying positions, down in 15th and 16th respectively. But the battle is still on at the lead of this race. The race clutch driver leads us through the penultimate lap and a half to go in this Belgian Grand Prix. Sixten Linhart, Doja Cat and Daniel battling it out for our podium positions. Tiers Korsman could just be a little too late, but Larry Tulke up to P7 already.
Yeah, fantastic drive from him once again. And of course, Lillian leads by 5 seconds. But this is the battle we're watching as we begin the final lap of this fantastic Belgian Grand Prix as we head into the bus stop chicane for the penultimate time here. So Lillian crosses the line to start lap 22. But we're keeping an eye on the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. None of these guys have time penalties. None of them have any problems apart from who is going to be standing second, third, and fourth. As we race towards turn 1. All Daniel thinks already about going into turn 1, but he knows the exact place he needs to make this move. He's in the best position. He has waited his turn. Doja Cat in third place with Linhart leading the way. Linhart might be about to get minced here as we race down on the last time through Eau Rouge, through Radion, as the DRS opens up. And here comes Gabriel Quinton. Here comes Doja Cat. Pulls the left-hand side and takes that second place. And they pounced, and they pounced correctly. They're up into second, but there will be, of course, one more chance into the bus stop chicane as battles go on behind us, TK.
Yeah, they certainly do indeed as we head down through the right-hander through Bruxelles. This is the important moment of the race. Doja Cat pounced early. The question is, do they have enough ERS left in that tank to see them till the end of the Grand Prix? Will Sixton be able to recharge from where they found themselves as they headed up into the Camel Straight? Or can Daniel pull off a double overtake as we head on to Blanchimont? But at the moment, we head through Sector 2, through the right-hander of Piff Paff into Le Fagnes. And the question will be, who holds on?
Riyad Sproggis picks up another 3-second time penalty, so that's definitely him out of the points. But he was already having an awful race. It's about to get worse for him because his two main championship rivals are battling for this podium place. Here we go through Blanchimont now. This is the final chance for Linhart, the final chance for Daniel, the final chance for that final podium place. Here we go into the bus stop chicane. Is Daniel going to go all the way around the outside here? Brakes as late as they possibly can. So late on the brakes as Linhart tries to push him wide. Lillian wins the Grand Prix, but Daniel's taken third on the last corner. It's Doja Cat in second, Daniel in third, Linhart in fourth. Sproggis has crashed in Blanchimont. And we got Zach Miles, T.S. Cosman, Larry Tukey, Keanu Linhart, and Kuba jumps up to 7. So it's Larry, Keanu, Danielle, Giovanni, Thomas Laminen, Yelt, Korsman, Zelenkovic, and Marcel rounds out your top 16. Actually, Keanu jumps out of the top 11. So we have our final points paying positions. But Rihard Sproggis has crashed in Blanchimont on the final lap.
Yeah, as they headed into Blanchimont, we're on board with the team at the moment. I think it would have been on the right-hand side here somewhere. Of course, the car already despawning, so no points for Rihard Sproggis. He was out of them at the moment, so not quite sure what happened amongst themselves. I'm sure if it was an incident, the stewards will be looking at it to conclude the race. But we'll wait for the TF10 driver to come across the line. Marcel Bega will finish up this Grand Prix down in P15, going rather slowly up towards the line. I wonder, are they out of fuel, Alex?
They might be, you know. I think they might be out of fuel. Oh, yeah, they are. They are out of fuel, TK.
Yeah, I'm listening on board with the engine. That is not a healthy V6.
Certainly is not. That is crazy, as they say.
It's shaking a lot as it comes up towards the line. There we go. Finally got across the timing beam. As we see 15th place for Marcel Vega. Fuel issues there for themselves. But of course, Lillian winning out your Grand Prix here this afternoon. Fantastic battle. See Gabriel Quintino, aka Doja Cat, as you've seen him for the majority of this Grand Prix, getting a podium alongside Daniel. And of course, unfortunate result for Sixten Lintar, as the rain has well and truly come down at the end of the Grand Prix as well.
Certainly has, but we'll go through your running order quickly. So Lillian wins the Grand Prix from Gabriel Quinton, also known as Doja Cat, and then Daniel in third. Then Linhart, Zach Miles, T.S. Korsman, Kuba, Laurie, Thomas Laminen, and Danielle around out your top 10. And then we've got Keanu Linhart, Giovanni, Yelt, Korsman, Timo Zelenkovic, Marcel, Riyad Sproggis, 16th, Rosenberg, 17th, and your non-finishers were Ryan Grob, Race, and Boba.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Marcel Bega actually getting the fastest lap of the race, but it won't count, I believe, as he's outside of the top 10.
It took it away from one of our championship contenders in Danielle. Or Daniel.
Yeah, certainly did. Fantastic last-ditch attempt. I wonder if that was teammate helping teammate or if that was a little bit selfish, just to try and get the point if they did potentially end up in the points. But that is how we round out, and we'll head back to our lovely faces. Wow.
We're here.
We are indeed.
Another brilliant race. Another brilliant race indeed. Now, we haven't got many people in the interview room. We've only got Lillian in there right now, who of course was our race winner. Shall we bring them in, TK?
Let's bring them in for a little bit of a chat.
So we have your race winner for Spa-Francorchamps. It is Lillian, who won the Grand Prix from third on the grid by about 4 or 5 seconds in the end. Congratulations, William, once again, another big win here in Formula 3. How do you feel after that one?
I feel good. Honestly, I will tell the truth. I never did any laps on the wet on the game, so it was a totally discover tonight. And yeah, I can say that I love the rain on the game and happy with the win, and just a bit disappointed with the lap in quali, but overall it's a good result.
Yeah, of course. Always you want to start higher up in qualifying, but you ended up with the win in the end, and that's what mattered. Of course, you're only a reserve here in F3 this year, but you had some fantastic battles in the wet with, of course, Sixon Linhart and, of course, Gabriel Quinton and who was it, Daniel as well. Did you feel like at that point, when you were in the dry, you obviously came out ahead of them by about 2 seconds. Did you feel at that point, that's it, I'm in control of this race?
Yes and no. Um, to be fair, I was thinking uh, they will catch me. Yeah, no, yeah. Uh, they 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 were catching me a bit, but no. When I saw that I have more ERS than the guys behind, I was confident. So yeah, and after I took like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and I was keeping the pace, and yeah.
Well, it certainly worked out in the end, Lillian. Well, congrats on your win, of course. And if you are racing next week in Italy, we'll see you there.
I don't know yet because I may be racing on in series Friday, so I don't know for
Well,
the moment.
both are good options.
Yes.
Both are good options.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Lillian, for coming with the chat.
Yes, thank you. See you guys.
See you soon.
So we are going to bring in, of course, your favorite man in the whole
Mhm.
world, TK.
Is that Doja Cat?
It's the one and only Doja Cat joins us now live on stream. Doja Cat finishing in third place with a fantastic. Oh no, was it third? No, it was second place in the end. Sorry, in the end, and it was a fantastic drive. Gabrielle Quinton, also known as Doja Cat, talk us through it, mate.
Oh, thank you so much. I was actually, you know what? I fixed my Steam name before like the race for myself, but then for some reason, like since I was messing up with the FVR guys, like with the lob before the race, for some reason it stayed Doja Cat. So yeah, um, a big shout out to the FVR guys as well. But no, I mean it was a it wasn't a great race. It was a good race, let's say. I think, my quality was decent, although my first sector wasn't really good, so I think that kind of cost me pole. And I think in the wet, I think from the wings that I was using, the pace on the wet was actually pretty decent. I think the thing for me was since everyone ahead of me were with pretty high wings, then I couldn't capitalize it, especially on the second sector. But yeah, I think, I think I put it in the right time. To be fair, I think it was I think it was lap 12. I think that I put it. Was my mediums like they didn't take long to warm up, especially compared to the guys that pitted like lap 9, lap 10. So then I could capitalize it, especially on the tire advantage at the end. Hence why I think I was a bit quicker than them. Let's say. But yeah, I think it was decent. I think leading, of course, did a fantastic job as well. Just pulled away from everyone else. To be fair, I don't know how he did that, but no, it was a great race, a good race for me. I think my second podium on the season, of course. I think was the first proper race that I've actually put time into it since Jeddah. So yeah, I think I hope I can stay like this for the rest of the season. I think that's like there's like I don't know 3 more races to the end. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, hopefully a win can come soon later in the season. But yeah, I mean I'm pretty satisfied, let's say, with the job that I did today.
Well, you should be. That's a very satisfying result, and it worked out on the end. So, of course, we go to Italy next week. I assume you'll be racing in Italy. Are you looking forward to whichever circuit it is? I can't remember if it's Imola or Monza.
Monza. Oh, Monza is literally my worst track in years. But I mean, I had a race here on Monday. I've qualified P17 and I retired in lap 2, so not ideal. But
You've got the bad luck out of the way. That's fine.
yeah,
Next
I mean, there is a thing called the Monza curse for me. That basically the last 3 races that I've did on Monza on past games. I think especially I think was one on F123. Yeah, the last 3 races that I've did on Monza, one was a P5 and the other 2 were DNFs. So basically, I basically carry a Monza curse. So yeah, hopefully I can break that next week.
Well, I'm sure you can, mate. I'm sure you can. Well, congratulations on your P2, and we'll maybe speak to you next week.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. And TK, that brings the end to another round here of F3. But if you're wanting more PSGL action, well, don't you worry. I can tell you exactly where you can go grab it. Of course, you can join all our socials at the bottom: YouTube, Instagram, Discord, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. All of that stuff is going on. Of course, you can follow us on social media at Premier, whatever it says at the bottom. That one. And of course, there is other races going on right now. F2 and F4 are underway as we speak. Go tune into those 2 Grand Prix because both of the people that commentate them and run them are fantastic. I'm sure they'll be just as good. But until then, TK, once again, thank you for joining me, mate, on stream. It's good to have you back. We will be going into Mexico with a very different looking championship fight, I imagine. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. I think, by the way, I'm not confirmed, but is that another race winner this season?
It is indeed. Yeah, first race win, I believe, for Lillian.
So that brings us to, I believe, a total of 6 or 7 different race winners in this year's Formula 3, which is crazy. And another race goes by without a pole win.
Yeah, very much so. Sixon couldn't convert it this time around. Will it be different when we see ourselves in a week's time at Monza?
Find out. But until then, everyone, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my